So I believe, I still believe, and that's where, like I said, I know the way the guy in the book briefly looked at the uncertainty principle sounded different to me than actually researching Heisenberg. But I still believe that when you touch a system, that somehow, like that same kind of thing, there's a connection made. And it's not a woo-woo thing. Even the dog whisperers proved it. What is it that he touches a leash and the dog goes, and then the owner touches a leash and is like, and then he'll touch the leash again, the dog's like, So, and he mentions it on his first book about the whole thing, and he goes back to the laws of minimum physics, to the Tacoma Bridge. So, and that's why when there's an earthquake, it takes down one building, because that building is the same frequency as that. So everyone has a different frequency. So I do believe that I touch in a way that I match as much as to that person's system, because I don't judge. I really don't, even that I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm not sitting there going, oh, what, did he do with this hip? What do I have to work on? Or, you know what I mean? I'm not, how do I know what's best for your body? You wouldn't, it's like I like to say too, and this is again random, of all my friends, I wouldn't marry any of their husbands, you know what I mean? And I know they wouldn't marry mine. When you hear someone's stories, you're just thinking, okay, teach his own, and it is. So it's the same thing when you're applying, you're trying to help someone. Now, yes, I know if you come to me with pain of certain sort, that I have enough tricks I can pull out and hopefully get rid of your pain. But at the end of the day, it's what you do with it. And some people like to be in pain, and you got to realize that too. Pain's predictable. Oh, I can't, they milk it, So now, so just like this, I can feel now with the extension off the ankle. So right through here. So, and then the more I just examine that spot so you can feel the tension through the hip and through the ankle.
It's going right through the knee.
So this is where lots of times I'll just hang out, talking to you, see if the breath changes to allow that to happen, because that's another thing. People assume it's here and there. Well, it could be here. It could be in your damn pinky for all I know. So, and just to prove on that, so now tighten the right hand. So I'm going to do this. So now you can feel the tension's even more through the leg. So now I'm going to bring it back out, loosen the hand, and now already the difference. So your brain made the mathematical decision, oh, there's some kind of tension in that arm that I don't need to deal with. It did not help me. So you had your intelligence to say, tight doesn't work, this works much better. Okay, I'll go with that. Boom, and now I have a leg. So, and it's that simple. So all that tells me is I'm into your system. Your system understands my mathematics behind it, or my equation and stuff, and your brain, whether you're conscious, like I worked on a little kid last night, quote, getting plantar fasciitis from work doing cross country, but he's black belt testing, and he's ingrown toenail, typical 11-year-old. So I'm like, oh, sit down. So he's looking at me, and mom's like, well, I can't pay you, I can pay you later. I'm like, I'm standing here, it's free labor. I mean, I'm not. It kills me to charge anyway, it really does, but I'm halfway between karate lessons. So he's like, I don't notice anything. So, stayed on the right side. All of a sudden, he got up. Do you notice anything? Tickle up your bone. Feet hurt? So now I'm just working on the rotation of the pelvis.
By pushing in.
Not only by pushing in, but see, I'm not pushing. This is how more I was taught. That was a push in. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm rotating it. Feel the difference?
Do it again. The difference.
So here's a push. And this is a valid move. I'm going after the back. I'm going up to the shoulder. That's fine. But I just quicker. I go right in here. and see the rotation.
I do see it, yeah, absolutely. Because the first one is like almost a lateral push, like I want to go like this. And the
Right,
second
right.
one I want to turn like this. Interesting.
And I'm in more of your system. Now I have your ankle, your knee, your shoulder, all of this is now, your whole body's affected. You feel the difference? Mainly barely go up to the chest cavity. I do have movement throughout the, what was the difference in the movement and the quality? By doing the rotations versus in and out. See, now already I can go if I wanted to and put your ankle up. See, now I can't side sit right here. You caught me. And that's more the soyas in here. So that's where I go in.
So is the psoas?
Yeah,
That
am I
big-
saying it wrong?
That big sucker right through
Pelvis.
the, yeah, probably.
So, trying to think. Yeah, well, I can save it for a lesson because I don't want to lose track of just talking about touch. So that's something that I needed to work on. Because not only did the foot not want to go back, see now already, now see how you're like, is she going to work on me? You're like, look at that, see? Look at that. From this position to lift the ankle, I'll move my chair out of the way. See how? Right through, top part down the groin. So now if I went this way, so now you're getting a bit of a staccato in there. So it's going the muscle through your abs. I'm not talking about the legs.
You're talking about the abs.
Yeah.
Do it again.
So feel right in here. So it's not a smooth movement.
It's like,
It's- yeah, I call that a staccato, like in music, just, you know. So now I could go this way if I wanted to and work. Or I can do the complete opposite. You didn't want to go that way, well, what if we went this way, you know, so. My point is, I'm just gonna show you how to go at it, system, all different ways for touch, so I'm trying to stay on that mainframe. So now you're sitting down still, right? So now, let's say if I take the wrist, this is very similar to the first time I worked on you. So now just holding someone, and this is where I'm gonna be teaching you how to do today. So now here I can feel more so, I can see it too, how you wanna keep the shoulder up, right? From part of the chest cavity also, about the third vertebrae down, and the third rib down too is a bit more engaged than I'd like it to be. Just again, this is just my, now if I give it just a little bit, I can see where the elbow actually can rotate decently, but I'm not getting a lot of feed into the shoulder. And also, if I just come down just a little bit, see the reflex pattern in the hand doesn't want to go, the elbow is actually trying to do most of the work. So what I was trying to do is just to see the hand coming up like this, and even that, it's not a clear, I call it a Barbie doll, hand open, you know, closed, just like a Barbie Ken doll. So just that little bit, you're starting to change for me, but now your biceps trying to do, your upper arm's still trying to do much more of the hand work.
Okay.
So just from that, I've got about 50 different things I could do with you if I wanted to, right? So now again, we can change that touch. So now I'm coming in, I never just grab anybody, you know. I usually, if I see someone being apprehensive, I tell them, this is my touch, just so they know, you know, that, because that, usually people have been to chiropractic, and not to say I recommend chiropractic all the time, I do, but a lot of chiropractors are just crunchers, and it just scares the bejeebers out of people.
I've been
you
there
know.
a couple of times and
Yeah, so I tell them, this is my touch, you know, if I see they're apprehensive over here, especially when a man's been brought in by the wife, and he's like got that attitude, all right, my wife brought me here, I have no idea what you can do for me, lady, but I'm not happy, you know, it's like taking a dog to the vet. So, and I just say, you know, now don't come and approach this way, I'll come in this way again, because it's safer, I don't come through the groin, but I'll just say, you know, I'm just looking to see how you move efficiently. If you're uncomfortable in any way, please let me know, I'll redirect. Because again, what if you were grabbed or molested and something like this is just uncomfortable for you because it's bringing back memories? Again, I don't know people's lives, and I don't want to know. because part of the reason I don't want to know, because some people think that this one incident was more significant than the rest of their life. And you're here because of your whole life. How do you pick out a moment that's not more important? And how do you decide? Your conscious mind might decide, like, okay, if I go become a doctor, I'll make more money. You know? But your subconscious still might want to do, like, look at her, yesterday about her daughter in music. Let her go. I mean, I'm not doing anything with my degree, but I'm used to packaging, I'm used to marketing, I mean, so it all comes into play somehow, from those experiences. So I can come in and lift, and this is what I did to you the first time. I went too fast. So just bringing in the shoulder. Again, you want to give me your arm, but not your body. So the rotation of your system. See, I'm moving the arm, I'm moving the arm, I'm moving the arm. You're still not there.
Right.
So now, again, you're coming forward, but that's your twist. Huh? Take just that jump, so if you were to go to punch someone with your left, you'd lose.
Why is that?
Because just that jump and everything, you're doing too many movements to make a movement. It's not spontaneous enough. So if I took the punch, so again it's that torque, but see, you don't have power behind it. Your head's going down. So now even that move's difficult, so you can't get your arm up. Now, again, can you get your arm up? Well, yeah, I know you can get your arm up. I'm just talking about when you're having a conversation. So that's where what comes out of your mouth versus what comes out of your body. That's what you have to listen to. Both stories. But this is more important. So now in this position, I can take it. Again, I'm just here. So for some reason, the pelvis here wants to fan and be more like the butterfly. And in this position, you just want to collapse it. So now with all of that, I'm going to do it on this side.
Okay.
Is this making sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And that's where people are like, but right now you'd so get up on this leg than this leg. You know what I mean? This is, just from that, what we did, the availability. So now that was the whole point of what I wanted to teach you today. Even if I thought it was going to take 2 hours, how you can just touch someone and just get a complete read, So that's why you have to learn the movements just as well, vice versa. It goes both ways. That's what any movement does. It goes both ways. So I'm basically waiting for you to just acknowledge the knee. So I'm giving it a little bit more pressure. Again, see, now we're going to do the difference. A lot of people would do this. I know this is just futile. I mean, what? There's nothing that way. Versus here, at least you're more open to something. Feel the difference? Feel the difference.
You're just pushing into my socket.
Well, I'm looking not only for the movement, but just a quicker connection. My whole thing is I only have an hour with you, and a lot of people would say, this was a lesson. And I'm like, you're here for an hour. No, like, I work you. I figure you can sleep when you go home, or, now, don't get me wrong, I pick my battles if the child's weak or whatever. Then, yeah, I might do the hand for an hour or the face. I mean, I can do enough detailed work in any part of your body. I literally could just do this section of the knee for an hour if I wanted to. If you just had a knee surgery, no problem. It just wouldn't even faze me. Where most people are like, what are you looking at? And I'm like, what? This is fascinating. and I can do that to you too if you want, to show you what just picking one section of the body and literally working for an hour, what it does for the rest of you. And that's where people go, well, it's just a touch. Well, it's not just a touch. Yes, people like to be touched, and it relaxes them. There we go. Now I can just pull a little bit. So already this side's, I'm working with this side differently. Now, another thing I did not do, I didn't correct the foot. Notice how this foot's not in standing, doesn't faze me. You know, if this the way you present yourself, and that's where my argument is with this work as well as chiropractic. To put someone in, quote, perfect position and then start working on them, your body's already going, this is not natural for me. I was much more comfortable the way I was. So I'm already, sort of telling you that I don't like the way you are, even if it's subconscious. Now, there are times that I do have to adjust or whatever, but usually I'll just say lie on your right side, lie on your left. I very rarely do I even say come closer to me. I figured if that's the way you're comfortable, I have to deal with it, not you. So, and so feel the foot being back more. Even that's still fine. That's much more. That's nicer for you. So, and that's the knee. Now, I could do something like this. So now, it's not a pushing in, I'm actually doing a rotation. So quickly, because the speed that's already there, the acceleration in this knee is help the other one. So now, very similar to what I was doing with body, is I can go to shift onto the knee. So I can alleviate some of the strain that's going through the pelvis for the way you sit. And again, you're not on the sit bones. You have a very low back pelvis, and that's fine. That's not. So same thing too. Your hands are together. I don't have to have them apart. So just that. So you can see I'm still back to that left side. So right through the left part of your chest, that same area, that was apparent on the other side of your left side. Feel it. And the rotation. So I'll slow it down. Right there through the sternum, and right to the left.
Oh, that's really, really, really subtle.
Yeah.
I can barely feel that.
So if I do it again, does it get clearer? So now you're feeling it more too under the scapula and the back of the left side. So I'll do it again.
Oh, that's really subtle. I do feel that, especially when you release it. When you're pulling it.
And also, speaking of the release, notice the difference. See how I go back with your tonus? I don't, unless I say I'm going to let you go, but notice the difference.
Yeah.
So the more and more I do this too, now you can see the bicep getting heavier, or feel that. I see you. So with that conversation, I can come in here. I'm sorry, I'm coming at you straight just because of the camera instead of moving the camera in me. So so just feel the difference coming over to this elbow. So now this, for some reason, you're quick to react. I just lift the elbow, you're already helping me in going whoop, off to the side. See how you're...
Feeling more just like the shoulders just going up.
Right, but you're doing it. And then if I take the whole arm, see, same thing. At this side, this is where we were last time. You don't want to come forward at all. So if I pull the arm, you're doing whatever you can to stay back there.
Yeah, I go anyway.
So is this helping you understand how just touching someone can just again, to let the ticker tape go and to start, how you're gonna approach. So now here, now first of all, you're comfortable sitting? Okay. So now I'm gonna have my same conversation we did yesterday, or the day before. So I'm right here into the hand. So right now, just wait for the connection. Don't even have two hands yet. Right there. So now I'm working on your shoulder, right in front of the rotor. So now with that, I can get in here with my other hand. So the elbow, front of the bicep. This to me is the difference between just being a piano tuner and working on a Steinway. Oh, there we go. So now the counterbalances just start to happen through the shoulders. So see when I lift up the hand, feel that just subtlety in the lower back and the shoulders, just as you just slightly lean towards me, or lean towards your arm, I should say. There we go. So now the wrist is rotated. Now feel the difference. Pulling the shoulder forward. So now I'm into the chest cavity, sort of in the back of the right chest, right before the floors.
It's crazy. I feel nothing going through my chest today.
Yeah, that's fine.
Nothing at all.
Right through here. So it's just a tonus change. So as you still rotate the wrist okay. But for some reason I pick up right here. You feel the tonus right through here. In the back of the arm.
I can feel in the back of the arm.
I should say convincing you or teaching you how you can work on the body parts though without working on it?
Oh yes, absolutely.
So now, watch this. I'm gonna take the patella with the wrist and go for that torque. See how I'm twisting the patella?
Mm-hmm.
So here, even when I'm twisting, I can push back and pull in the arm and reverse. So just for that, now feel a difference. So you see how you're starting to counter on the shoulders, how as I pull a little forward, your left shoulder goes back just a little bit. So the counterbalance was sort of on the vertical, and now we're on the horizontal. There we go. See how I'm now pushing into the leg? That's a lot nicer, huh?
Yeah.
Feel the difference now between this punch?
You got the whole back going. I got shoulder to pelvis.
Feel the difference?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So even here, it'll start evening out a little bit, but feel the difference? And again, the punch, see I can't.
Yeah. that's got the whole roll. It's like from here to here, and this one goes up and gets stuck somewhere in the middle back.
And we're going back to now the foot. Total difference in the hip joint. So now if I bring the foot forward. And just to see if this made anything of a difference. So already here, bringing down. So.
It's a little hard, but it still catches right there.
Right. But again, just to, I'm trying to show you the whole circle of life. So now I'm going to do things a little bit differently here. So here I'm right into the clavicle, right, and I'm trying not to point per se or touch. That was big. So we would have to go to the right hand, which is more subtle. So now I'm at the clavicle and the back of the scapula. And again, right now I'm doing some pretty advanced stuff, how to work through a system. However, this is important. When that shoulder was broken, couldn't touch it. There you go, starting to function.
I feel like I'm still like pulling against you.
It's okay. That's just your brain saying, lady, I have no idea what you want from me.
Right.
Or it's you saying, I've never done this movement before, what's going on? And again, if you were in England, you'd be starting the car with a hand like this, because you're on the opposite side. I mean, these are functions that are, what if you went to ride a horse? You're gonna put the stirrup in this foot, grab the saddle, you have to present, you have to go over. What if you were jumping a fence? Yeah.
Which I do a lot. Thanks.
So same thing now. Take that rotation and go out. There we go. Go in, out. Now this, there we go. Now you're fine. Still, just a little bit there. But you're going to be different from the left side from the right. It's just nature. This is the first time to look at how the pelvis is starting to come up and over. Just there, see?
Yeah.
Good job.
Now the lower back just couldn't get it.
Feel different?
Yeah. I'm blocking up for some reason. And then left of the scapula.
Well, I'm looking for now the pulling you up over your pelvis.
Yeah, you're right.
big. Let's see. Notice how you've never really been in this position before. I'm just letting you hang out and breathe. I'm about to bring down your arms because they've been up too long, even though, again, you're a very in shape, muscular guy. I still have to honor the system. Alrighty. Feel the difference in sitting?
Yeah, I'm not like this.
Yeah.
I'm like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is new to you. So this is where people get a little, now this could be permanent for life, or this might be, wow, that was great, but left her, and because it goes around so many different movements. That's why I have to do it just like a baby. I'm crossing midline again, going into that pre-crawl, but with the back in this position versus the prior position.
So like not all the movements necessarily that you do with someone are permanent per se. Like someone could revert back.
Absolutely. Especially if trauma happens. Or they don't believe it. Again, pain's predictable. People like it. Some people do. They won't say it. I mean, that's why we get addicted, Drugs are predictable.
Last year I remember going to France and being really straight. And over a couple months I noticed myself curving back over again.
Right. Well, part of the reason was you fell hard again. So your system went into protective mode. You should have done lessons on the floor to get over that. And I think you fell, and then you also got hit by the trap. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, when you're doing stuff which is fun and you're laughing, but your brain's still going, you're stupid, you don't know how. So that's where you start getting cautious, because you already hurt yourself way too badly on that bad fall, prior to meeting. So your brain's going, okay, I don't fall really well, so now I gotta start watching where my feet go. And when you start running like that, and then you start adding in what you were saying, bad shoes and whatever, your brain, it's getting too complex for the brain. You're asking, it's like trying to be Superman without any webbing, you know what I mean? You can only go so far. Spider-Man, I should say, sorry.
Superman doesn't use. Yeah.
Okay, it's like trying to fly without a cape.
Okay.
Come back up here again. So it's just like a marionette at this point, but again, you're a tall boy, and I've got to give you life experiences, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like baling hay or all those things that you did, but with this kind of back. There you go. Notice too how you're getting quicker.
Right.
This is why they call it a movement lesson versus just for a massage. And now feel it. And now walk around with that. So sit down again. I'm just going to show you again just the difference, and I don't know if I'm going to per se air this part. And again, it's not a complaint, but I was taught much more. Take the arm.
You're saying this is what you were taught?
Mm-hmm. First of all, I think it feels strange.
It does.
Because what the thought is to isolate the shoulder cavity, so I can just bring in the chest function. And I don't think you have the same kind of conversations with your vestibular.
I never tightened my neck like that.
That's what I'm saying, you know what I mean? Like, there's something that preps you. Now, of course, I'm sure I could be criticized, like, I'm not doing that work right. But also, or I was taught, and again, I do use this a lot.
Sorry, I'm sweaty.
That's okay. I've never had that before.
It's Arizona, right?
But see, I was taught lift and release. Now that works, right? But what I do now is if I lift, what if I, see again, it's work.
Working on so many different things other than just the
Oh my
shoulder.
goodness, look at your ankles just from here. Now your knees. Not only that, but do you notice the difference? I have you. When I'm in that mode, you're like, whatever, lady. Take my shoulder. When I'm in this mode, now I could stand back here and again still apply that principle. So I don't have to be as quote close. Now this is what I like too with the kids. See now how I can get in now. This is more the karate. But again, look at the moves. I can get away with
If you got everything.
it.
Yeah.
Right, but notice how I'm grabbing your head here,
Exactly.
and you could care less
Mhm.
because I'm torquing. It's very kid-like. So now if I wanted to, I can go here. I can totally, like the karate, roll you down. I can bring you back up. I can even, if I wanted to, well maybe not because you're tall in this position, but bring you into standing if I wanted to from something like this.
But what she isn't telling you is she could hurt you too. Really hurt you.
Oh, so sit down. So this is how, you can sit down, John, and you can sit down next to him. I'll show you quickly. So this is how I was taught to get someone up. To free the head from standing is like this, and now stand up.
I'm not going anywhere.
I know, so help me out, stand up. See how the difference? To freeing the head from versus the way I just did it?
The other one you were using the skeleton system.
Right.
That one, you were pulling from it was almost like you were like at the wall again.
What they're trying to do is separate the head from the body, and I understand the pretense, but I still say again, if the more and more I play with it, you go back to that torque,